Welcome to another day. Today is a painting day. So if you've been following along with the series, you know that just recently I actually finished a painting, and I even put up a full video kind of detailing my painting process. And intermixed with that was also some drawing videos, and I didn't always just do the painting consistently every day. And I think I even finished that painting about over a week ago, so it's been a little bit. And I plan to do this series kind of similarly. So some days we'll be painting and then some days we'll be drawing kind of mixed in. But at least right now we have one painting that's going on. And so I just started this painting today. And you know, an alternative title to this video other than starting a new painting would be something like The Ugly Phase. Because every single painting that at least I do goes through an ugly phase in the beginning. So, you know, and I'll kind of show how that went in the last video on the screen here, where you'll see kind of the first kind of stage or first day of the video or of the painting, and then where it ended up at the end. So you can kind of see that transition between an ugly phase and a finished phase. And I know not every artist goes through this, but I think a lot do, especially those of us that are more on the beginner end of the spectrum, which I would still consider myself a beginner when it comes to the arts. And so the way that I kind of think about the first day of painting is first I put in a sketch of the painting using using my a very fine brush that actually is like a little bit stiff from being painted with multiple times. And then I use red paint, and essentially I can just draw, almost like I'm drawing with a pencil. And so then I put down, using this like red oil paint, I put down the first layer of the drawing, which is really just kind of me sketching out, okay, where will this sit on the canvas? Kind of blocking in the figure, maybe even laying in a little bit of anatomy, a few landmarks, just to kind of get an idea of the figure. Now, in this case, I've actually already drawn this twice, which I almost always do before painting. It's not really, I've done it a few times where I just go straight into a painting, but it's not really my favorite way to paint, because I think, like, for me, painting is so much more of an effort. I like to have done at least a little bit of prep work before I go into it. Now, that being said, I'm kind of approaching this painting like a study. So previously, I approached that the portrait like something I was trying to finish and that maybe still might one day end up in a gallery or a show. But this painting, I'm kind of approaching it more like a study. And the reason I'm doing that is I haven't really drawn or haven't really painted the figure in a long time. So there's like a lot of problems that I really need to work out and try and understand as I'm doing this, and to put the pressure of like trying to create a, you know, finished gallery level painting while still trying to kind of figure out the inner workings of figure painting is really going to be kind of like a disservice, and I think, you know, add unnecessary stress and kind of mess with the whole process. So I just finished, I'm recording this after I finished the drawing. I finished the sensitive painting, and so it was about an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour, and I started with that sketch that I just described, that red lay-in, and then after that I kind of mix up 4 colors, a dark, a light, and then 2 midtones. And I also compress the value space. So my lightest light is not that light, and my darkest dark right now is not that dark. So I kind of just have these like 4 mid-tone middle ranges of value. And what I do is I take my absolute biggest brush, so I have no ability at all to block in detail, and then I just kind of work from darkest to lightest and kind of block in on the figure where I think those things exist. And so for me, like this, like kind of like, you know, ugly stage of the painting, or the first stage of the painting, what it's really about is just laying down almost like a background of paint, almost like just something for me to work off of, like a base color blocking, if you will. And from here on forward, everything is subject to change. And so I kind of see this painting process as this process of pushing and pulling. So right now I've just pushed a bunch of paint out, and I've kind of pushed away all the detail that could possibly exist in the painting. And then slowly over the next days, I'll start to pull some things in towards being finished, and then also maybe at times push them out, pull them in, push them out, pull them in, until I finally have kind of arrived at this level that I want. And I kind of think of painting as this little dance between, you know, finished and unfinished, you know, tight areas of the painting, meaning like very detailed areas of the painting, and then loose areas where things are kind of more abstracted, more painterly, and it's really kind of this dance and this rhythm that goes in between them. And so, you know, today I finished this painting, and I think, you know, a lot of people would look at this and be like, okay, this is, you know, looking very ugly. It doesn't seem like there's possible that a good painting can emerge of this. but it definitely can. And I think that for those of us that go through the ugly phase, it's really important not to quit and not to give up. It is very easy to give up on a painting when it's in this stage. And for me, I didn't become a better painter until I learned to push through this phase. To be able to look at the canvas and be like, okay, it's a mess. There's problems everywhere. Nothing looks like how it's supposed to look at. And then finding areas little by little, moving your way around the work and being able to kind of pull them, as I was saying, pull them into being finished. To me, this is like this has been like one of the biggest developments in my painting ability is being able to do that. So I recommend if you're dabbling in oil painting or wanting to start oil painting, that you kind of try this process of like really trying to see it through and finish a painting through, even though it gets into the ugly phase, and kind of see how this dance evolves for yourself. And the dance can be kind of poetic as well. Like today, I was listening to one of my favorite musicians, Cat Power, and I was listening to her and her music, and just kind of trying to flow with this push-pull of the figure, and kind of find something in this reference, in this painting, that is inspiring to me and kind of makes sense to me. So I think with that, I will just ask you if you've drawn yet today. As 2 days ago, I think I had the name of the video was something like "Practice at All Costs" or "Why You Should Never Miss a Day." So if you haven't painted yet today, this is me telling you, it's time to paint. It's time to draw. It's time to do some kind of art. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.